Good evening, Southeast Texas. We start with the horrifying scene for employees at the Sawdust Saloon early this morning. A man from Groves kicked out of the bar, then witnesses say he grabbed a gun and opened fire in the parking lot. Beaumont police were called there around 2 o'clock this morning on Finette Road. Witnesses say Lonnie Cormier threatened to kill several workers and pointed his gun at them. Cormier then fired off several shots. Luckily, nobody was hurt, and police were able to arrest him, and they found that gun. Cormier is now charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was taken and booked at the Jefferson County Jail. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office announced an arrest in connection with a series of robberies at a game room in Kirbyville. Deputies shared these pictures this week showing a suspect on 2 different occasions robbing and then leaving the Fieldhouse game room in Kirbyville. The cameras there also catching his truck. Deputies say they got a tip on Friday after someone spotted that same truck at a house nearby the game room. They got a warrant and they searched the home and the truck. Inside the house, they found 40 grams of methamphetamine, along with scales and packaging materials. In the truck used for the robberies, they found another gram of meth in items they believe were used to rob the game room. As of right now, nobody has been charged in connection with the robberies, but deputies have made 2 arrests for the drugs, a 23-year-old man from Silsbee and a 49-year-old woman from Kirbyville. This investigation continues and more charges could be coming. Turn things over to the storm trackers now to get a look at that weekend forecast as we take a look outside on our Roofing 911 Skycam in Orange. 81 degrees out there tonight. I'm in the Storm Tracker Center right now with meteorologist Kerry Cooper. Kerry, it sounds like all week we're going to have a chance for rain every single day.
Yeah, we are actually beginning tomorrow. More scattered though tomorrow, but certainly picking up by Tuesday in the middle of the week. So it'll be a nice dent putting that drought, that's for sure. Now it's pretty quiet out there tonight. Not expecting a whole lot tonight. Now as we head toward morning, we could see a few showers. We're at 81 degrees now under mostly cloudy skies. 80 in Beaumont, 85 Orange, 80 in Port Arthur. Pretty comfortable out there tonight. Still quite muggy though later tonight. There's your rain chances the next 3 days. 60% tomorrow, up to an 80% coverage Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. Now what lies beyond these next 3 days we'll talk about a little bit later in your Storm Tracker forecast.
All new here at 10, we are just a few months out from the general election in November, and one local coalition is working to get the Hispanic population registered to vote. HPAC, or the Hispanic Proactive Coalition, says Hispanic voters didn't have a good turnout in recent elections. 12 News reporter James Grant spoke with the coalition's president about an upcoming event that they are hoping will get more Hispanic voters to the polls.
That's the goal, Cam. Daniel Cruz with HPAC says the Hispanic population in Jefferson County is growing, and he wants to make sure everyone who's eligible gets to the polls in November. His event this Tuesday provides all the necessary resources, and it doesn't cost a dime.
We've noticed very low turnout within the Hispanic population and really just in Jefferson County.
HPAC President Daniel Cruz says representation matters when it comes to Hispanics in local politics, which is why the coalition is hosting its first voter registration event Tuesday night in Port Arthur.
In our great country of America, we have the right and privilege to vote, and so I think that many people come here seeking those types of rights and privileges, and so if you can do it, then I encourage you to get out and cast that vote.
Cruz says Hispanic voter turnout has been low. He blames confusion over how to register and how to cast your vote.
There's an enormous amount of information being shared, but is it being shared in the right places, in the right locations, and also is there sufficient time, given ahead of time?
The deadline to register is October 11th. He says it's not only important that people register to vote in November's election, but also future local and school board elections.
Easy access, and again, just encouraging them and letting them know that we'll have bilingual staff on hand, so that way they can, ask us questions in Spanish if that's the language that they feel the most comfortable with.
All right, now take a look. Here's all the information for Tuesday's event. It takes place at La Plaza Garibaldi in Port Arthur, and it will run from 6 to 8 p.m. Now, anyone with questions about the event can get in touch with HPAC via the email on your screen. That's hpacsetx.com@gmail.com. James Grant, 12 News.
All right, James, some good information there. Family and friends gathered today at the Beaumont Art Studio to celebrate the life of a beloved local artist. Kimberly Brown died unexpectedly Tuesday at the age of 48. Brown was a regular contributor to art shows at the art studio in Beaumont. She painted murals on walls and buildings all over Beaumont and Southeast Texas, like this beautiful painting of Frida Kahlo that can be found on the corner of Natchez and Fannin. Brown will forever be remembered for her amazing eye and the way she saw beauty on a blank canvas. A big week ahead for officials in Uvalde. This Wednesday, they'll have a meeting to discuss the potential firing of School Police Chief Pete Arredondo. It would come exactly 3 months after the Robb Elementary School shooting. The school district has been pressured to fire him. Many state leaders publicly blame Arredondo for the delayed response to the shooter who killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Arredondo said he did not think he was the incident commander on scene that day. School officials will discuss his termination on Wednesday, August 24th. Turning to the abortion debate tonight, as states like Texas tighten their abortion restrictions, an online dark market for abortion medications is thriving. According to a Wall Street Journal investigation, many of these websites are registered overseas. They're separate from U.S.-based telehealth operators that can prescribe abortion pills in states where it's legal. One site based in Kazakhstan says its abortion pill sales have doubled since the Roe v. Wade decision. The unregulated market creates many risks, including the fact that some of these pills could be fake. Also, people buying pills without a prescription could potentially lead to criminal charges. Meanwhile, the Texas trigger law, essentially banning all abortions, is set to go into effect August 25th. That is this Thursday. It makes nearly all abortions in the state felony crimes. Doctors who perform an abortion could be facing life in prison and fines up to $100,000. The only exception to the trigger law is if a woman's life is at risk. New York welcomed its largest group yet of asylum seekers coming from Texas today. 140 migrants arrived from the Texas-Mexico border. It included 10 children. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is sending migrants on buses to New York to protest the Biden administration's immigration policies. Volunteers there are now scrambling to make sure they have the resources necessary to help those migrants.
We've opened 13 hotels to increase our capacity. We're looking at every single option that we have.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams issued an emergency solicitation. He's seeking bids for up to 5,000 more hotel rooms. New developments this weekend in the Brittany Griner case. Former NBA star Dennis Rodman told NBC News he's planning a trip to visit Russia. Rodman has a history in conducting informal diplomacy. In 2014, he wrote a letter to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that led to the release of an American prisoner. Rodman says he's expecting to get to Russia as early as this week.